Hey everybody, today we're going to be talking about blending with acrylics. So I'm going to show you how I go from red to white. Usually a lot of people will just go from red and paint until they get to the white and try to blend them together. I like to keep my stuff colorful with lots of colors, so I'll add 3 different colors in between, gradually changing from that red to that white. So in between, like in the middle, I'll have this gold, and in between the average of this gold and this red will be this orange, and the average of this gold and this white will be this lemon yellow. So these are the 3 different colors I will use to change from red to white. So, and if you didn't know, I like to use palettes from vinyl records. So I just go to the record shop and pick up the old vinyls that are damaged that people donate, and just take those and use those because I like to recycle. So we'll put down this red, you can see, and we'll actually move it around a bit, and we'll just paint in this area right here. One thing a lot of people do, even though acrylic dries fast, a lot of people want to actually change the colors sometimes too fast. You want to use a little bit of layering. So to use layering, I want to let this piece dry just a little bit. So I'm going to clean this brush off, dry it off there, and let me actually go to this gold. So I'll go to this gold right here. I'll spread that a little more, so I'll put that actually on the canvas. Spread that in there. Oh yeah. The thicker you lay your paint on, the more time it will take for it to dry. But because we're using acrylics, they dry pretty fast. Okay? Get that on smooth. And one thing about acrylics, if you want to get a consistent brush stroke, make sure you use that same pressure. So after I've finished globbing it on and spreading it out, I'm gonna lightly just go over it, making sure you don't see a lot of the brush strokes from spreading it around. Okay. Let me actually put the white down as well. Mainly because this canvas is a little dirty. Sorry about that. Let me just make it really white. Right there. Clean the brush off again. You want to make sure you clean your brushes off consistently. That way you're not carrying over one color to the next, which will eventually get your colors a little muddy. That's what you don't want. So now let's go to this orange and put it right here. Let me use this orange and put it down here. And let me go into the red and then back over into the gold. Let me use a little more. A little more. There we go. And you can kind of see it starts to blend in those areas. Sometimes you really have to wait when you're changing colors, because sometimes certain areas of the red or the gold may be wet and some parts may be dry, and when you're spreading it, over into those areas, sometimes you'll get an inconsistent brush stroke and it'll look a little sloppy. So sometimes you really want to make sure that you wait. Get this lemon yellow, put those in, put that into that area. Oh yeah. So now you can kind of see the different colors. Now we're going to start chopping them up even more into different parts. So let me clean that up again. So we're going to take about 3 minutes for this to dry, and then when it dries we'll come back and we'll actually mix the red and the orange and start blending this a little more. And then we're going to mix the orange with the gold and blend this area a little more, and the gold with the yellow. Blend this one and the same thing with the yellow and the white. Now that we waited about 5 minutes and it's pretty much dry to the touch, we can go back and start adding in another layer in between these colors. Sometimes you want to be careful when you press down, because sometimes the surface is dry, but underneath the painting, underneath that layer, it can still be wet. So make sure you be careful about how much pressure you use. Let me just do a little more paint there. So we're gonna mix the red and the orange together to get a color in between. We're gonna use our palette knife for this. And it's more of a reddish orange. You can kind of see it already. A dark orange. Let me clean the palette knife. Take some of this and lightly you can go over it. It's a little too red, so I'll add some more orange to it. Actually, use the palette knife again just to take a little bit of that and add it to this orange instead. Nice. Let's take this. There we go. Right in between. Use, like I said, light brush strokes. Now we're gonna go ahead and mix some orange with some of that gold. Do a little more orange, gold, and the orange. Because the orange is a little bit darker in value, we're gonna add just a little bit less. So we're going to take some of the orange, add it to the yellow pile, or the gold pile. There we go. That is looking good. And we're going to take some of this, put it in between. Light brush strokes. You can kind of see there's still a sharp, and there we go. Getting rid of that division right there. Light brush strokes. So sometimes you even want to let gravity just move it along. All you want to do is just hold it and have gravity move it along. And then we'll take some of this yellow, the lemon yellow, and add just a hint of the gold. Just a hint of the gold and the lemon yellow. Let's add a little more. There we go. Let's take some of this and add it in between. Go. Just gradually move over to both sides while you're doing it. You can kind of see that division go away and it starts to blend together nicely. Now let's add white and add a hint of the lemon yellow. You just want a hint of it, so let's take just a small bit, add it to the white, add a little more. Almost like an off Easter yellow right here. Just throw that in there and just add it to the other side. Lightly. This is not pure white, it's in between white and that lemon yellow. Like I said, sometimes you don't want to do too hard of a brush stroke. So there it is, basically. You can go back if you want to, like I can clean up this area right here, but you can go back and even do more subdivisions by adding and mixing some of these different colors. But this is the basic concept of how I go from red to white in a lot of my paintings. I'll go from red to orange to gold to yellow to white, rather than just mixing the red and the white. So if you want to blend with acrylics and get those vibrant colors at the same time, definitely do this with other colors that you use. So if you're mixing a blue and a green, you'll want to use some teal, you want to use some, just, you know, some odd colors. Definitely experiment. That is what it is all about, experimentation and just learning as you go along.